usually do because I'm already doing it in my free time anyway. So, first things first, music, chiptunes, baby, please. Oh, that's not, shoot, hold on, messed up. Okay. There we go, let's get, sure, this one. Throw that in there. And, oh shoot, I need to, just 1 minute. Let's turn my screen off because I need to hide some things. Okay, that, don't mind me. And let's see, this is probably good. That's probably good. That's probably good. Okay, I think we're good. We're back. So, where are we? Where are we? Yeah, I wanted to figure out this bug that I'm looking at right now, which is essentially if I add an image and edit this doggy, they get put up there just fine. And if I go home, go back to the dog, make a change, nugget, and I edit the dog, we'll lose that image. And that is a problem. So also, a couple things that I'm seeing is, yeah, a couple of things. One is, this should actually be redirecting. So, use multi-part form data, yeah, and then redirect. Redirect, do I need to redirect? No, I don't need to redirect. We'll just leave that. When I hit save, yep, updates the dog. So what I want to do is actually come down here where I'm showing this doggy data and say, what are you complaining about? Provide an alt text for images? The alt text is there. Alt, provide, yeah, there's an alt right there. Okay. So, the problem I have here is I actually need another input. So I need an input here that's like either an image or sorry, like either an input that has the URL or an image. So let's try this. Burp, burp, burp. Let's do this sort of thing. We're going to do ID is going to be image URL role URL. Name is I don't know, image URL.
Good.
I'm actually going to call these file. Let's go URL, it's just going to be image. This is going to be file. Label is photo. This is going to be photo URL. This is going to be, I don't know, upload. This type is going to be a URL. And it is going to default to default value of pet image URL. So hopefully that'll work. So yeah, that's interesting. I feel like that should probably not be set. So let's see, if I set this and I select a dog and I hit edit pet. Okay, please enter a valid URL. Awesome, that actually is a valid URL. So let's get rid of that check. Let's edit the pet. Okay, and that breaks because we changed the file name. So we're going to say if the body has, what do I call it? Upload? File? Body, 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 body. If it has a file. So then we can upload this one more time. This time it should work. Definitely did not work. Okay. Unknown arg file. Right. That's because, oof. Okay, that's because we are parsing the pet schema based on the body data, which is including a file. Which is not correct. Okay, this needs to change. This needs to change because we're updating where the dog's the date, where the ID is that we're setting the dog name that the birthday to the birthday that was there before, and then. Did you mean ID? I did not mean ID. I meant image. So okay, this is it. This should be image. I think that should do it, where we're adding an image, data.image, because that's the dog image. Yeah, and that's the data that's going to be saved. Cool, let's try this. Console log data, just to see what we've got. And why not the body as well? Body. Cool. Okay. Alright, let's try adding an image. Let's edit the pet. I shouldn't hit the same error, and I do not, and we actually do get the upload now. So now if I want to delete it, I can edit the... If I reload, I'm going to see the upload, and then if I edit the pet now... I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. That was the data, which looks right. This was the body, which included a file and an image for some reason. And so now if I edit the pet, yeah, this gets changed to an empty thing. Because I don't know why, actually. Because file is a thing. Duh. Okay. Alright, so this was the challenge, was... First of all, why is this uploads? That's a really weird thing to me. Let's check out the loader and see include the image. console log pet. So that's gonna load. That should get my pet back. There's my pet. There's my image. Why is my URL at /uploads is a weird thing. Alright, let's check the database then. dbeaver. We're gonna bring this up. Here it comes. Let's close that. Let's add a new connection. It's going to be the local host. I think I'm working on a local Docker Postgres thing. I should be able to connect. Postgres, schemas, public, tables. Cool. Check out our uploads. Data. There we go. So I have all of these images that are being created but don't actually exist. So that's a problem. Okay, that's interesting. Let's check out the upload service. Upload service. Public uploads. Okay, let's find /uploads. Ah. Yeah, okay, that's the problem. I'm creating it no matter what because we get this no matter what. Okay, that makes more sense. Because that is going to actually create a thing. So, this is the dilemma here, is what to do when someone hits edit pet. There's no way to like set value of file input. Is there? How to set a value of file input? I don't think it's possible. You cannot set it to a client disk file path due to security. Yeah, of course. You select file. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do some trickery here. This is how it's gonna work. This is how it's going to work. So I'm going to create a file input that if it's set, it will create the file and upload it to the user. If the pet already has an input, here we go. This is going to be it. This is the upload thing or the edit thing. If a pet, I'm going to need some React magic here. Yeah. The file input works fine. I'm basically going to toggle these. If this is set, we'll show this and we'll show a little button to remove the image. So let's say button, you know, something like and times. That's it. There it is. Cool. Unless I have an SVG for it, but I think that should work. Okay, so next thing's next. We're gonna say use loader, use action, use form, use effect, use ref. We want some use state. Gonna take this use state down here into the component. We're gonna say, let's see, we've got pet options, we've got what happens when, this is so ugly. Use effect is terrible. Use const photo URL and set photo URL is going to equal use state, and it's going to default to the value of pet image URL. Okay, cool. We're going to put that in the document just right there. Photo URL is going to be that. And then on click is going to equal delete photo. Delete photo is going to be function. Delete photo is going to set photo URL to an empty string. And let's see, we'll leave that as is. Let's see what we've got so far. Cool, that's my photo URL. I click that, it's gone. Awesome. So we're going to say if we have the that and input, we're gonna do this, put both of those. There we go, something like that, right? Something like that, right? Question must have one parent element. Ugh. Okay, do that, and then we'll do that. There we go. Okay, cool. Which means I don't think we need this, do we? Yeah, we do. Okay. We've got an input that we're basically saying, hey, if we have a photo URL, go ahead and remove it. Cool. Otherwise, not photo URL and the file upload. Okay, photo URL, we delete it. Then we're gonna upload a photo. Cool. I'm gonna keep this with the same label. Photo. Label is photo. Cool, we do that, we edit the pet. And then the last thing is up here where I edit the pet and I actually get the data. Cool, we have the image ID. So I think what I need to do is say if body has a file, where is it? And the file name and size is empty or something like that. Wait a minute. If body file, console log data and console log body. Body file is a file, which is not actually a file. Okay. New file dot. What are you gonna give me? Name, size, type. How do I tell if there's actually a file there? If there's body file and body.file. It's gonna tell me what kind. No, we're gonna say name and body.file.size. Okay, we'll try that. If we have a body, we'll create the image. Otherwise, we'll leave it as is, but we probably want to keep the image ID in there somewhere. So I think what I want to do is try maybe doing this my own way, where I'm going to get some JS because it's just going to be easier to do it instead of having to hit save all the time. So let's go document.query selector and grab a form. Cool. And we're going to say object.from entries, new form data. That's so cool. Cool, I've got everything. And then we're going to say, like, fetch this route. Method is post. Await fetch dot. Sure. Internal server error, bears response. Complaining about something. Could not parse content as form data. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do that because I can't do a fetch request with a file. No, I can. What am I talking about? That would totally work. Oh, yeah, but I didn't send actually any data. Okay, cool. Fetch is post. Body is going to be object form data, query selector form. I think I need to set the enc type probably. So that's 200, cool. So that's my action. I'm getting my data. Let's see here. Why is that not actually doing anything? I should wait, fetch that. Cool, that is what I'm sending. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm sending. This is the data I'm receiving back. This is the form data. Something like that, right? Yeah, the form body. Cool. The request body. Okay, so I've got the request body, and then I want to say, what if I set the image? Okay, let's say we'll say const fd equals that, and then fd dot set image to null, and then we'll try sending that again, but with fd. Cool. That gives us, yeah, image is null. Okay. That was dumb. So now if I like reload, this is gonna say null. No, it's not. Okay, cool. I need to set. Okay, set. Now we want to like dot delete image. Oh shit. There we go. Cool. Now, latest thing is the image is unset. Awesome. Okay, cool. So with that I can do some work. So if right, if the image is unset, then we delete it. That's fine. I think that works. Okay, so if it's not set, we've been updating it. I think that's been the actual issue, that we've actually been deleting the data. So I think with that, the data that I'm writing is this: name, type, birthday. Shouldn't have uploads. ID data equals, okay, so let's try this, dot 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 data, and then we're going to explicitly set, oops, comma, and we're going to explicitly set some stuff here. The image ID, image or the image ID. Image ID is going to be null. I don't know. Let's try that. So I think with this should actually remove the image. Okay, edit. Can I read properties of null reading URL? I broke it. Yeah, request.url, equals pet.image.url. Cool, that's unset. Okay, that was how I could delete it. Okay, so I think that is one way to do it. Except instead of image photo URL, we're going to do set photo URL. We're going to do image ID. And then set image ID, yep. Set image ID is going to be pet.image ID. Pet, you're supposed to be defined. Why does that always work like that? Get rid of you. And getting rid of you means that we know what pet is. So weird. Okay, whatever. Don't get rid of you. That's so weird. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got our pet. We've got the pet ID, which is string or null. Cool. If it's not defined, it'll be a string. Then what we can do is actually, let's see, instead of this, no, we do want that. Yep, default value is going to be the image ID. Okay, I've got this. We're doing this now. Default value is the image ID. This is going to be a type of hidden. Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need you. Do need that delete button. Gotta move that delete button way up here next to the image. We're gonna do the image details. Somewhere up here, I'll come back and do that later. Cool, so we don't have the image. We do need to do if there is an image ID. Okay, only if there's an image ID do we want to be able to delete it. Okay, this should just be a regular input. ID probably doesn't need an ID, does need a name, does not need a label, does need a type, does need a default value. Cool. That photo should go away. Awesome. Upload the doggy, edit the pet. Okay, image ID of null. Cool. That's not going to work. That's the part that needs to be fixed next. image ID of null. Let's do that for now. Okay, we've got our dog. He is set. We've got the delete button. I can click that, and technically that should have... Haha, that should not have. That does need to. If we have an image ID, I think we need to do that. If we have an image ID, then we do all that stuff. Right, if we have an image ID, we do that.
Everybody get it up, it's a party song.
If we don't have an image ID, we do that. Okay, that's looking better. There we go, there we go. Okay. Really? Okay. Cool. If we have an image ID, if we don't have an image ID, and then we have this button. We show this, we delete that. Cool. And then if we don't hit save, still have the dog. Awesome. Delete that, we edit the pet. We have an error, I believe. Yeah, well, we don't have an error, but we're not actually deleting it. So, last thing we need to do is check the data that's being sent. I'm sending image is null. Okay. We're getting close. We're getting close. That's because this hidden one needs to actually be name of image ID. Okay, awesome. Close that, edit the pet, reload. Okay, the data that we're sending is empty image ID string. So what's missing here? Check out create.
Everybody get it up, it's a party song.
Okay, name, type, birthday, image, ID, z.string. It's a string, and it is optional. Okay, we set that, which means that I can actually set the image ID to null or empty. Okay, got an error here. Too many clients already. Let's see what's going on with that, huh? That's annoying. Okay, cool. So we close that. When we get back in here, that should reset the clients, hopefully. Gosh, it was so much better with SQLite. Okay, delete that. Hit edit pet. Pet, foreign key constraint failed, pet image ID. So this time, the data that I'm sending is an image ID as an empty string. Alright, let me check the Prisma stuff here. Like, how do I remove a relationship? Remove, relationship, remove, or delete. Cascading deletes. That's not helpful. Let's see. I guess image could be null, right? Like if image ID is not defined. I had it a moment ago. I had it. Image ID can be null. Okay. All right, let's try this. Let's try this. Image ID is going to be data.image ID or null. Cool. Delete that, removes it locally, edit, saves it, reload. Ha! Okay. Because it can't be an empty string. That's interesting. Now the question is, what if I add an image? Can I add an image? Choose an image. There's my pet. Edit the pet. Nope. Image ID cannot be null. Okay. So, if we have a file, we set it. Otherwise, data.imageID equals data.imageID or null. It's either going to be defined or not. Okay, that handles the images. That ought to be it. And delete that. Feeling pretty good. Feeling like this is done. Don't need this pet. We've got it. We've got this. Okay. Alright. Maybe we don't have this. Hit that. Otherwise that. There we go. Reload. Loaded. Cool. To the file. There's my upload. Where's my little doggy? Where's my little doggy? There he is. Should have been... Okay. Okay. We are almost there. This image ID thing is not quite working. Almost though. Very, very close. If the Let's do this. Let's console log the pet as we get it. So let's see what we've got on the client side. It's going to load. There's my pet. I've got my image ID. I've got my image. So I can get rid of these. I can get rid of the image. And that stays the same. I can hit edit pet, and then it should come back without an image or an image ID. Great. Now, if I upload a file and I edit pet, we get the pet back with the image. Oh man, this is a pain in the butt. Doggy set. Well, let me get that button up in a good spot anyway. Where is it? Here. This button. If we have the image ID, we want to show that image, and we want to show this button to clear the image. If we have the image, I'm going to do a div, put the image inside of that div, put the image inside of that div, put the button inside of there as well somehow, and this is not good text for this button. Yo, Fitz Genius, what's going on? We're doing some remix Prisma stuff, making apps for my dog. Span with a class name of visually hidden. Give it some text of remove photo. Give this a span of aria hidden, set to true. There we go. Something like that. What's going on? You got some questions? You just coming in to hang out and watch? You've done React for like 4 years. Just had to switch to Vue. Saw your stream and will try not to backseat. No, jump up in the front seat. Let's hang out. Let's chat. I mean, I'm like going to be hacking away at stuff if you just want to chill and watch. But if you have questions, if you want to hack on something else, if you got a Vue question, let me know. And I'm happy to jump on that because I'm just kind of building something out for a course I want to be putting together soon. And just needed something funny to build about it. So, funny thing about this little dude is I kind of I'm not sure if I want it to like appear on hover kind of right there in the center. Maybe we'll do that, huh? We'll do like, this thing's gonna be like position relative, and then maybe this dude is like position, position, absolute. That may actually not even be what I need to do. Here's what I think I'm gonna do is display grid, and then place content center, and then we'll do, this is no longer. Did you set a variable to use state var? I did. Yeah. There you go, use state. We're trying to set it to the image ID. And rather than a default. I'm not sure what you mean rather than a default. But if you have... Oh, like you're saying just as an empty string. Okay, so as the component is being created, so this data comes in from the backend, right? So at the time that this loads, I have the data. Okay, so it would be something more like this, where you do that, and then I already have the pet data, right? So then I could do like set image ID. Or I guess I would do like if I have it, right? Like if, and I do something like that. Ah! No. It sounds like that's what you're telling me. In the use effect. Ah. God, React is terrible. Okay, that's annoying. Yeah, so basically what you're saying is I would do the, I think I could probably set it how I had it then, is do like this so that defaults to the pet image ID, because that will come in when the component is created. And then I could be wrong about that. I mean, I'm not wrong about it being there when the component is created, but I don't know about the React way of doing things. So then we do use effect, and then we would set image ID to pet image ID, and then we would add something like the dependency tree or whatever would probably be this. As it's when the component is mounted, you can add this into line 136 function. Okay, you don't need different use effects because I'm basically watching like different things. This is the use effect for when the form is submitted, which might be what you're saying. Let me see. Oh. Too many re-renders. No, okay, cool. So you're saying, like, if I say, cool, we delete that, and then we edit the pet, cool, that basically works as expected. The variables are being watched in the array, so I can change the array. Second param, yes. So if I set this to the dog, and then edit, it works. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, so it seems to me like it would make more sense to use two different use effects because they are separate concerns. If that makes sense. I'm actually going to change this. Const photo equals that. Oops. There you go. Yeah, so I don't know. So what is the React blessed approach? Try and use the fewest number of use effects, or try and keep use effects related? Because essentially this whole block of code is all of the stuff that's related to setting the image, right? And this whole block of code has nothing to do with that. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, what you're saying is take this, move it down there, and put this in there, and like get rid of that, right? What do you think? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Still seems to me like, because then this effect is also going to run when this changes, which coincidentally will be the same time, but I don't know. Right, so if let's see, it's two separate events then. Yeah, I think that they are, like, technically it is associated with the same event because it's the form submission, but it still feels to me like they're separate concerns. They both work. Oh, they are not the same, actually. Yeah. No, this is... Yeah, no, this is... No, they're actually... Hold on a sec, let me show you. This page... So I'm doing like the whole remix run thing. And this page is set up with several different forms. Good question. So why not do it on form submit? I am doing it on form submit, but I think the part that's a little bit confusing here is that because this is using remix, it does a weird thing. It does this weird thing where I'm just gonna log, like logging the pet here, right? So we've got the pet logging when the component is created. Just right at the beginning, we do some stuff, and then we log the pet that we've got. So it's pretty cool, and it's pretty cool, but it has some interesting things about it. Essentially, when I edit this pet, we are using a custom form element here. This is a form element that's provided by Remix. So we have this form, we have another form for the owners, we have another form for adding new owners, and then we have a last form. No, we have, I guess, 5 forms on this page. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one we don't see because this pet doesn't have any current owners, and it would kind of sit in the middle here. So the thing that Remix is going to do is, right now I'm like clearing out the currently loaded pet that was on the page, and this is, why can't you use one form if they all take the same fields? They don't. And they don't all take the same fields. One is to edit the pet. One is to add, like, search for existing owners in the database. One is to add owners to the pet. One is to delete the pet. So they all have different functionality. Yeah, it's fine. So you can essentially think of each form being responsible with its own method, and you might consider that like going to different REST endpoints or HTTP endpoints. That's why you need different forms. Remix does some kind of, or has some approach for handling forms that is a little bit funny. So right now I have all of my forms going to different routes because they all do different actions. Therefore, I need a different form to handle different routes. This one edits the dog. And the thing that's interesting is, let's take a look at the console over here. When I edit this, we're going to see, well, okay, yeah, something's broken, but you see how it logged like multiple times? That's because Remix under the hood is doing like 4 events on each page transition. And a transition includes, like a form request includes a page transition. So where a normal HTML form would actually like reload the page and then the app would essentially reload, Remix gives you a built-in form component which has the sort of AJAX fetch request taken care of for you. But it's not really that straightforward. Yeah, so it's re-rendering 4 times, exactly. But it's not that straightforward because they have some sort of contextually provided application state or context that tracks when a page is in a transition. So either a link navigation or a form submission. And when a form submits, then that context is provided throughout the application or to the route or something like that. So you can tap into what page you're on, what data is being sent, what the loading state of that data is, and those four renders correspond to the 4 states of that transition. One is before sending the data or before transitioning. One is like as it's being sent. One is as you're waiting for it. I forget. Maybe I don't have the transition available right now. And then the last one is basically the state of the application afterwards. Because the way that it works, the way that Remix works, is it does essentially 2 sets of HTTP requests. One is to send the post request that updates the backend, right? And then the second one is to actually go and refetch the original request for this route to load the data that's now the fresh data. So it's kind of a little bit weird. There's a whole story around it, but essentially you kind of don't keep state on the client side. You just rely on state living on the server. And in order to get the freshest state after you make a mutation is to make another GET request or a fetch request. It's really fascinating. It's a little bit of a paradigm shift. But yeah. But I still use local state with useState. Yeah, so you don't use local state. Yeah, Redux and Vuex. Yeah. So you don't use local state too frequently. The only times you need local state is, for example, in this app, when I have an image and I edit the pet, then that was like all those requests coming back, right? Let's see, find URL, something is broken. Image ID, pet image URL. Okay, this might be the part that's broken. But essentially, when I make a local change here, when I click this button, this actually isn't reflected on the server yet. This is only going to reflect on the server when I hit edit. So if I reload now, I haven't made that mutation, right? So that's where I need local client-side state for. Or if I wanted to do something where I like type into here and it sort of updates the title as I type, then I would want use state. So what I want to see is, let's see, if I remove that and edit the pet, I think I had an error before. Doesn't look like I do now. I don't know what happened last time. Yeah, that seems to be working. If I delete the image, it should update the pet without having to click edit pet. It depends. I thought about that. It's weird that it reloads that. Let me see. Edit pet. That's not actually doing a reload on the page. If I choose a file and put that in, Okay, it's not reloading, it's just flashing because it has to download that image. That's fine. So, from a UX point of view, yeah, so you would think, like, if I click this, so there's a couple thoughts that I have there. That is a destructive change that's hard to undo. So if I, like, delete that, right, it's easy for me to either Control Z or to just type it back. If I remove this, there is no Control Z, really, and for me to get the same image, yeah, so that's what I was going to get to. It's like you either have a modal that confirms it, or you just like allow a user to, oops, undo. I could do the modal. I'm not too crazy about doing the modal. I think I tried doing that here. No, I did not. Awesome. I started implementing the modal. Let's see. Give me a sec. Let me get that back. Nugget is a dog. We'll choose the image. Is here. Add the pet. Cool. There's Nugget. Yeah, so there's a couple ways you could do that. You could delete this right away. Cancel it and refresh the page. Yeah, portals. Portals are pretty cool. I played around with doing a modal. The problem with them is, so I've done a lot with, well, everything I try to do is accessible, and yeah, portals don't necessarily solve that. There's a lot you have to implement to do that. So I started implementing it with a details component. Details? Yeah, a details element. And that has an interesting effect that, yes, modals can definitely be accessible. The tricky part is that they are very difficult to make accessible because you have to then control all of the ARIA states on the button and say like that button controls a certain element. And then in addition to that, you have to control all of the accessibility requirements for the modal, which is, I mean, mostly tab navigation or like focus trapping and making sure things like pressing the escape key exits, and then when it exits, it goes back to the element that it was originally on and refocuses that. So yeah, I tried playing around with it, with doing it with the details. Still not sure what the accessibility community thinks about using details for that sort of interaction. I agree. The short answer is I think you're right, but I also have to balance like how much of this I'm going to build, and if I'm going to build it, I'm going to build it right. So I think that although it is maybe the long road is, yes, I would probably make this button its own form, and when you click it, or sorry, this button wouldn't be a form. This button would trigger a modal. Inside of that modal would be a form that would then trigger some sort of event that would hit an endpoint that says, hey, go and delete this, delete the image on this pet. I also think that this short solution of just delete it locally works pretty decently, and I don't have to worry about the accessibility stuff, and it's kind of already there. So hopefully that is a reasonable response. Now I need to figure out how I want to get this button in here, and I'm thinking display grid. Yeah, fair. This is going to be, what is it? Grid area of 1 and 1, and then this is also going to be grid area 1 and 1, and then we'd go back to this grid and say place content center. Oof. No, place items center. There you go. Then it would be kind of right there in the middle, and we essentially only show it on hover. Hover or focus. So let's see if we can do that. Yeah, hey, no, take your time. Okay, so let's tackle that, right? Class name is going to be grid place or items center. Let's see, we need some tailwindy stuff. What is it? Grid area. Nope, I want grid area, please. Not gonna find it? Not gonna find it. Justify self, place content. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's go. Let's open up the app styles. I'm really tempted to get rid of this color. I'm not sure I love it. And let's do a little bit of a helper function, or helper. Yeah. This should go after that. This should go here, and then my helper's here. We're gonna do grid area 1, 1. Close that. I'm gonna go to this button, this image. Class name is grid area 1, 1. Close, but not no cigar. Grid area 1, 1. That should be. Doesn't need to be 1-1. Nope. Ah. Place items center. Okay, missing something there. Place items. Ah, place items. Okay. That's not confusing at all. Cool, got it. There's my button in the middle. And then I need the hover over the parent, reveal the button. I also don't love that actually, because then it's like, how am I gonna? No. Place items end. Yeah, that may be it. That may be it. Okay, place items. Nope. We're gonna do relative, and then this one doesn't need a class name at that point, and this one needs absolute bottom right. Nope. Bottom 0, right 0. Cool. Good enough. Remove that. Reload. All right, let's try this. If I bring this back, it's always there. Now, what if I choose a different image? What if I choose an image of myself? And edit the pet. It is not. What? Wait, what was that? Choose file. 9 megabytes. File exceeds upload size of 3 gigabytes. That is not quite. That is not even accurate. Interesting issue. Okay. Maybe that was just a massive file. 9 megabytes. 2 megabytes. How big was this one? Let's try this other picture. Oh, it's not a picture. Okay. 427 kilobytes. All right. Cool. That is working. That's not Nugget. Oh ho ho. Okay. Interesting. Edit pet. Go back home. Edit. Just edit the pet. There you go. Now you're probably to null. Pet ID index line 62. 62. That's not right. I am missing something here. Request URL is going to be defined. It must be pet image URL. This is the only other place that I'm using it. So, we had an error. This was the last image that was set. Ah. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because we're updating image ID to the pet image ID. Okay, this last little bit of unusual behavior. I've got my pet there. Don't need this console commented out fetcher. Okay, Prisma. Let's go. Come on, baby. There you are. Okay, got my pet. For some reason it rendered twice. Not sure what the deal is there. Probably has to do with that use effect. Does it have to do with that use effect? Why is it rendering twice? That makes no sense. Renders once. With use effect. Renders twice. Very strange. Very strange. Double render. Not as pretty as a double rainbow. Anyway, let's see. So I add an image of the dog. I edit the pet. Renders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times. Feels like it should be 4 times. Then I go, what is it? If I just edit the pet as is, no problem. So at this point, image ID is set. Why am I making this so much harder on myself than I need to? Duh. Let's go here. Let's go, yeah, down here. Ah, no, 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 no. Yes, okay, cool. Image ID. This is interesting now. Something else I need to deal with here is what happens if this image is gone. Display none. Okay, cool. Easy enough to fix. Keep that aspect ratio. That way when it loads, if the image is slow, it's still there. So what is going on there? That data should be loading from the back end. Ah, okay, I got it. Yeah, now this needs to be set here. Otherwise, if it is not set, then it's waiting for the client to load to actually set it. So now, reload, and it doesn't change. And because it doesn't change, we don't get that use effect to run. Okay, that makes more sense. So now if I remove that, we get the use effect because I have changed the image ID. That makes sense. And if I just hit save, what the freak is the problem there? It's having an issue reading this, which it should not. Actually, maybe it should, because I don't know. Default value should be image ID. If I edit here, we have no image ID, which makes sense. If I add a pet, then we have the image ID, and if I edit the pet again, we've already set it on the client side. Or maybe it's because the form has not changed. Okay, so now that the form has changed, if we edit the pet, that's the problem. Okay. There's my image ID. It's on the back end. It's not a client-side issue. It's with my logic here. Okay, so let's see what we've got at this point. Console log, data. That's the problem. I'm removing it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Got it. Okay, that should fix it. Cool. We've got a form. We hit save. It sends the data without modifying this ID, so that ID stays. Relationship stays on the back end, and we are all good. This was the bug. This has to be optional because otherwise, when I do my parse here, that value is going to be stripped. So it was either adding it here or like injecting it. I think image ID there makes sense. Cool. Yeah. That's it. Alright, which means we don't have to log the pet. The use state thing is fine. The image thing is fine. Image ID we don't need. And this little doodad should go back to being type of hidden. Cool, there's my form. It's looking good. This part's complicated, but I think we got it. We edit the pet, nothing is really changing. Yeah, looks good. Yeah. Cool. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Okay, it's, yeah. Okay, got it. Cool. So if we have an image, then the data.imageID needs to be deleted. Data.image, what is it? I mean, I guess I can just delete it, right? Delete data.imageID. Or data.imageID equals null, and data.image is we want to create the image. Okay, just about there. We choose a new file, picture of my face, edit. Hey now. Can't be null. Prisma. Prisma, Prisma, Prisma. If we are sending a new file, we delete the old image ID and we create a new image. Okay, that's fine. This makes it so we don't have to actually remove it and then replace it. New picture, edit pet. There you go. Boom. Seems to be working. Should work without JavaScript as well. Disable JavaScript. Let's see what we've got here. No file chosen. Ah, that's not going to work without JavaScript. Interesting. Interesting. Almost works without JavaScript. Everything should work without JavaScript right now, except deleting. Yeah. So if we want to delete it, I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can do this. Actually, I can just do this. We're going to copy this. We're going to go up here. We are going to wrap this in a form. And we're going to give, we're going to like hold on to that for now. We're going to do a button, whatever, X is fine for now. We're going to give this a name of that. We're going to give it a default value of image ID. No, we're going to give it a default value of an empty string. I don't even think I need a default value. Name is image ID. That should delete it. Where's the form? We want this method to be post. And sure, we may need that as well. And might as well copy this as well. Okay, let's see if this is going to work without JavaScript enabled. Reload that. Yeah, that makes sense that it's there because now my form is wrapping it. Let's click that. Type needs to be submit. Yo, Smrta counter, what's going on? Name is that. Type equals submit. Oh, not much. I am trying to do some silly stuff like making this work with and without JavaScript. That did not actually work. Okay, let's try setting, maybe let's try this. Instead of doing that, let's do an input type of hidden. Let's do the name is that. The default value is an empty string. So what's going on with you? Working on anything fun? Alright, let's check that out. Image ID, payload is that. You're working on an e-commerce project. Alright. What's the details? What's the most interesting thing about it? Cool tech stack, cool challenges. You're selling, I don't know, like kitten lingerie or something. Actually, we're 4 persons. Okay. Alright, so this should be hitting this action handler, and I should be saying that the data image ID is null. Oh man, now you're working on mobile and they're working on the web. What's the problem there? You don't like the mobile, or you hate that they're working on the web? But tell me how you really feel, though. Where's my data? Why is my data working? Come on. Let's submit that button. Let's see what the data is that we've got. Nothing. Not even getting that far. Oh, you hate the web. Oh, Smrta, come on. Don't bring that sort of attitude up in here. This is a web shop, alright? We love the web. We embrace the web. Except when it's being a butt like this. Like, why is it not logging my data, right? I'm not missing it, am I? That's the point. No way. The web is the great equalizer. Look at this. If I want to do mobile app development, check out how easy it is. Boom. It's a mobile app. How cool is that? If you wanted to do web development on mobile, you'd have to like pinch and zoom and like hold it. It's just not the same, you know, it's more fingers. Is this a mobile app? No, not really. You know, there's some stuff with the web. I don't know how much into it you are, but there's some cool stuff that the web can do. There's some progressive web app stuff, like you can access the camera, you can access geolocation. Can you access the position of the guy? You can get the location. Window dot what is it? Window dot, I don't know, MDN geolocation API. I think it's probably not as robust as the native platform. But yeah, you can get navigator.location. Thank you, Rugmat. Will you get that? Will you get it with the IP? No. You just do like no IP address. As long as you can only do it client side. So not if you want to do it server side, which let's be honest, that's not web development. That's just server side. No. You're still talking IP addresses. We're going. Rugmat has got my back here. Geo. No. Rugmat. Navigator dot. What is it? It is not geolocation. It is navigator dot something. Get current position. Is that it? How do you do it? It is geolocation. Okay, I'm crazy. My bad, Rugmat. Totally gaslighting you over here. Navigator. That's the problem. Geolocation dot get current position. Oops. Get current location. Then you have to pass it a callback, and I'm just going to log it. It's going to ask me. You see this? It's going to ask me for my location. I'm going to say. I actually don't want Mozilla to just have that. So I'm going to take that back to my local host, and I'm going to say, hey, if my app wanted to ask for my location, I can say, yeah, sure, I can get my location. And then I feel like it was supposed to do something there. Okay, fine. Let's try this. What is it? Function. Console log argue. What is it? Arguments? Arguments, no? What the heck? What am I doing, Rugmat? That should have been it. Success, error, options, navigator. Okay, success, positions. Well, let's try this whole thing then. Let's do new window, open up the terminal, throw that whole thing in there. It's going to ask me. I'm going to allow it. Okay, cool. There you go, current position, latitude, longitude. And can you fake that with a VPN? Really? This geolocation works with the IP? I mean, I didn't pass in my IP, so... I don't know. You're probably right. You probably know more about this than I do. But anyway, it's still pretty cool. Well then, so how does the... Oh, so it wouldn't be with the IP with a mobile device because it would be using the latitude and longitude coordinates that were passed to it from the device? Use device location service, yeah. Well, I'm not going to read through it. Wait, but is that true that the... How do you use abstract API IP geolocation? Is this, in mobile... Okay. In mobile, you use the actual position of the device. You know, I'll be the first to admit there's a lot of people in the world that are smarter than me, so you can wear that hat today. regardless, I want to figure out. Regardless, I'm still going to make the point that PWAs are awesome and the web is great. But I want to figure out why the heck this form is not actually sending the data. So there's my form submission. It's just. I think I know what's going on here. I think it's doing something really dumb. I think this is a remix thing. Because I have the form is set up exactly the same as this one, besides the class name. I have that. Yeah, I like web, you like mobile. That's right. Let's just agree that the web is the best. I'm just kidding. Giving you a hard time. No, I mean, I can't speak for mobile. Like, to be honest, for me to say anything about mobile development would be a farce because I don't do it. So I've never touched mobile development in my life. Let's see. Name is Merp. It's a good name. It's a good name for inputs. You're welcome to use it. You know, I like your taste in music. I can already tell. So we submit that, right? We're still not getting any post data, which is bizarre. What if I edit this one? Huh? Then we do get post data. Okay, so two forms that look exactly the same as far as the forms are concerned. Right? I mean, I'm not like form method post action post to this one. The other form posts to this one as well. They're both EncType multi-part form data. This is is submit. Didn't need that file. Why? Let's see if we got something up earlier in this stack up here. Let's just I don't know, let's log the body. That ought to tell me a thing or two. That's gone. We submit that. We got it this time. Okay. So, I know what the problem is. Sometimes you look at something and try to imagine its code. Okay, you want to take that thought a step further? And think about some stuff. Lately, you've been navigating your PC. Sometimes you look at something and try to imagine its code. Oh. For example, you know the feature on Facebook, while watching a video, you can scroll down, the video gets down, and you continue to watch it? Yeah, you know, the web can do that. It's just, there's like a picture-in-picture API. I don't know if, like, because Twitter has that too on some screens. If you start watching something, I don't remember what screens, but if you start watching something and you scroll down, it like pops down. My answer is always just going to be, oh, the web has that. And then your answer is going to be, yeah, it's not as good though for whatever reasons. Picture-in-picture. That doesn't sound right. API. There it is, picture-in-picture API. Floating window, always on top of other windows. Let's see if we got a demo here somewhere. Here we go. Check this out. Click that. Oh, look at that. There it is. And then I can... How cool is that? Yeah, back to tab. Cool. It brings it back here. Okay. It's pretty cool. No support in Firefox though, so not quite there. And yeah, as far as like how hard that would be to code, you know, the weird thing is I'm kind of with you on that. Is I do the same thing looking at examples of something that someone else built, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how hard that must have been, how much code must have gone into building that. And for a company like Facebook or Twitter, that's probably true. But I think that there's a lot of examples of people that just have like a little bit of niche knowledge and can hack together something that actually is not so much code. Not to say it's not difficult, because you do have to develop that knowledge. But it's interesting that, yeah, sometimes some of these things are actually, again, not that they're easy, but they're not a ton of code. Like the real-time communication stuff with WebSockets, I'm still not great at that, but it's a surprising little amount of code to get something like that to work. Okay, so why isn't this working is because I am not actually deleting that data correctly. So I don't know if Fitz Genius is still here, but Fitz, you may have had a good point that this button should be the one that deletes the thing. And if we want this to work without JavaScript, I can do this one of two ways. I can either reveal this input that controls the image ID here when JavaScript is disabled. Oh, no, you don't have to apologize or anything. I was just, you made a good point earlier about this should be a form. And I was like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I want to do that. And then I went down this road of like, I'm going to try and make this whole thing work without JavaScript being enabled. And now I'm just doubling back on your point that, yeah, if this button controls this image to delete it, this button could just be a form. Essentially, that's a challenge. Yeah, doing things to support no JavaScript is a challenge. It's a fun one though. I really enjoy it. And I can definitely do this. The question or the implementation is, this is either a form that duplicates all of this information as hidden inputs and then just like removes the the image ID, or this is a button that's, yeah, I think there should be some confirmation when you delete the image. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, which goes back to sort of my original issue that like I need to finish this project, and not having a modal, I'd have to create a modal, and I should probably we'll see, maybe I'll do one with the details. I'll come back and do that. I think I'll come back and do that. In the meantime, to answer the question of today, is this could be a form that repeats all of these values, doesn't change them, just use a confirm. That's a good idea. That's actually a pretty good idea. That would still require JavaScript to work. And even the modal story still requires JavaScript to work, right? So, which probably is an annoying thing to hear. But let's try this. Let's see. Let me do a flag that says if JavaScript's enabled or disabled. We're going to say, down here, we're going to say const has JS equals, what is it? Document, type of document equal has JS does not equal undefined. I don't know. The app requires JS. Wait, why are you looking for if JS is enabled? The app does not require JS, actually. So maybe you stepped out while we were working on that, but right now I have JS disabled on in the browser. So I can do everything. I can click over here. I can see that dog. I can come over here. I can change the name and edit the pet, and it works, right? And I can even change the photo. Yeah, no, I get it. How the heck does it work? So that's kind of the beauty of the remix thing. Is it's not really the beauty of remix. Like you can do this. You can code stuff like this so that it works without JavaScript. You just have to fall back to built-in browser primitives, and you need your backend to kind of sort of support that as well. And that's really what Remix provides, is this sort of glue layer to say, we're going to connect the front and back end. Most users have JS. Yeah, most users definitely have JS. Majority of users, absolutely. The reason why, I don't know, I came from a background where like I worked in an agency and we had to do like government websites. So a lot of the times they had to work without JavaScript because you never know. The problem with building things for only JavaScript being enabled is that, one, JavaScript can fail for a number of reasons. It's not necessary, like it's very rare that people have JavaScript disabled, but there's a number of conditions that could cause JavaScript loading to fail. And bbc.co.uk did a study that showed that like 1% of users or like interactions experience a failed, or like page views, something like the page loading, experience failed JavaScript events, right? Problem with a lot of the problems with JavaScript is sometimes when one thing fails, the rest of the app JavaScript like hangs up, and it's breaking features. So other problem with JavaScript is if you're on a very slow connection, and you do server-side rendering, then the page loads and otherwise interactive components like this, like this before it was a form, the user will see it, interact with it, and then nothing will actually happen because the JavaScript hasn't loaded to add the event listeners to actually do stuff with it. So why do you do things to support no JavaScript world? In case it fails, or in case the user's on a slow connection and you have a fast server response. Well, I guess that's kind of contradictory, but in case the user gets a fast response, but the JavaScript download is slow. So hopefully that answers the why is Austin doing weird things with his application. Slow connection, it won't stop JS from being processed by the browser. No, that's true, but on a slow connection, if the HTML downloads and renders onto the page, and then the JavaScript is downloaded, and in the time that it takes for the JavaScript to download and parse and apply those event listeners, there's a frame, or there's a window of time that someone could try interacting with the page and not experience an interaction or experience the correct behavior. So building things sort of this way, where it's like we're gonna default or like fall back to HTML. You have a bundler's chunk JS. I don't know how that's. I don't know what the point is there. But I mean, hopefully, ideally, like if you do things this way, you can have a fallback to something that works with just HTML, and then when JavaScript kicks in or loads or whatever, then you have the sort of nicer experience where, you know, right now the page is going to reload every time. In your experience, you've never encountered this issue. I have encountered it. I've actually, yeah. So I've encountered JavaScript failing more than I have, but I've also encountered like clicking on something and the JavaScript hadn't loaded yet. So everyone has fast internet. I don't know if that's actually true. Gonna disagree there. But, you know, the point being that I also like the challenge. It works. I don't know. It's fine. I'm not trying to convince you to do it this way, but I am going to defend my approach that this is the way I like to do it. So, yeah. Anyway, this could be a form. What was I saying? Has JS. Interesting. Yeah, I know. It's. You don't have to agree. You don't have to understand it. I know it's wild. I know a lot of people don't believe in that approach, but yeah, I know a lot of people that do, and they are people that I trust and admire in the industry. So yeah. Cool, so that's not going to load on the client side, obviously, because we have JavaScript disabled. We should load something here. I don't see a Boolean, because it should have loaded on the server side as well, which is so weird. Oh, there it is. Cool. True. Awesome. So has.js is true. That doesn't make sense. Type of document does not equal undefined. That does not make sense. Search for document. Browser only code on the server. Document guard. Type of document. Ha 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 ha. Silly me. Very silly me. The linter was even trying to tell me. It's even right there, right in my face. Okay, let's see. Reload, reload. There it is, false, cool. Has.js is false there. Let's JS, enable JavaScript, and see what we've got. If we reload, we should see something on the client that says true. Cool. So now I'm gonna get into a weird thing. I'm gonna get myself in trouble with this because Remix is going to yell at me because I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna try this other idea that I had. Let's leave that. We don't really want that inside the form. We want to delete that form, and we want to say, hey, if JavaScript is disabled or enabled, show this button, right? And there we go. And this is expected server to match. Yeah, so this is the thing that it's going to complain at me, because it's going to load without the button, and then when the button is available, because JavaScript is available, it's going to load in there. And this warning is really annoying. But that's literally how they tell you to do it. That's not literally how they tell you to do it, actually. Lazy. Browser only APIs. Okay, rendering with browser-only APIs. Another common use case code is rendering the server rendering React, not just Remix. This must be avoided because the APIs don't exist on the server. That makes sense. You can fix this by moving the code into useEffect. Okay. Because it's not in the DOM. Yeah, so it's basically complaining that the HTML from the server doesn't match the HTML that's rendered on the page when the client side hydrates, which makes sense because we're saying, hey, if there's no JS, don't even show this button. In a world where there is, go ahead and show it. So I'm still not sure if that's the best approach. I'm kind of playing around with this right now. Okay, so if we have JS, we'll do that. Otherwise, I'm really starting to get I'm starting to question if I'm just like sounds like I'm making my life hard. You're probably not wrong, but it's okay because once it works, it works. So input ID is image ID, name, birthday, image ID. Yeah, so this is also the weird thing because the image upload, you have to take like the ID or the URL. Right now I'm going to have the image ID, which is like, what percent of users don't have JS enabled? So according to the BBC's study, the percent of users that have JS explicitly disabled is like 0.3%. But the users that have some other JavaScript that prevents it from running correctly is like 0.8%. So iOS Safari and Android Chrome. Windows 10, 11 users have Edge, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not an issue. It's not so much a common issue with people disabling JavaScript. It's mostly with people experiencing a issue with JavaScript loading. Let me see if I can pull this article up for you. Why do I need JavaScript and how do I enable it? Nah, this is not it. Let me see. Austin Gill. Just gonna shill my own content here. Pretty good article if you ask me. But here we go. Not BBC, gov.uk. Okay, here we go. Why use progressive enhancement to build gov.uk? What is progressive enhancement? Improves resilience. Let's see. Okay, it's important to understand that it's often not the conscious choice of users to arrive at your site without JavaScript. We did some research and discovered that 0.9% of .gov or gov.uk visits are by people who don't have JavaScript available and haven't chosen to turn it off. Give an explanation. In many ways, your JavaScript can still fail to run. This is a great site. These are a couple of great sites I'll share. A non-exhaustive list includes script hasn't finished loading, or stalled and failed to load completely. Application route is up, but the route to the content delivery network is broken. User has chosen to install a plugin that interferes with document object model. That's actually me. I have some plugins that block certain scripts from running, and it does break some websites. Users has been infected with a plugin that interferes with DOM. User's company has a proxy that blocks some or all JavaScript. I have been there before as well. Hotel is intercepting the connection. Telecom provider is intercepting the connection. User's country is intercepting the connection. JavaScript code has functions not implemented by user's browser, so old browsers or proxy browsers. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a non-exhaustive list, like they said. I'll share a couple links that are kind of interesting. So forms. Yeah, what about forms? Yeah, well you always, I mean, you never want to trust client-side validation only. But still need a response on the front end. Yeah, like if you try and submit a form and you don't follow the validation requirements, yeah, so there's two ways to do that, right? Well, that's not true. Client-side validation, let's see. So let's see if I can disable JS. So JavaScript is disabled. And if I get rid of that and edit, okay, I made a mistake there. Yes, so you can do the required, you can do the HTML5 validation on inputs, which I get, you know, immediate response is like, that's garbage, it's not good. You're not wrong, it's not great, but you can use that if JavaScript is disabled. So you can do like this idea of progressive enhancement where you say, I'm going to do the browser-based, like whatever's built into the browser without JavaScript, let's use that. And then in a world where JavaScript is enabled, then we can progressively enhance our form to not use the ugly HTML5. If browser supports syntax for that. Yeah, of course. I mean, in the same discussion that we're talking about supporting older browsers, it's possible that users on a browser that doesn't support HTML5 validation, right? Cool. Well, you can actually see like the impact, like, or how my application works here is this is not using the HTML5 validation, and it's not using JavaScript either. It's going to the server. I don't know why it's still there though. Should have been. Oh, because I'm reloading the same event. There you go. So if I delete that, cool. It says, hey, it must contain at least one character, right? And something broke there. But anyway, the way that works is Remix in this case is kind of helping with it, but the way that it would work in your application, hypothetically, is you would make the request to the server. Server would respond with some sort of error message that says, can I show you the backend or the XHR request? Yes, I can. The backend is quite interesting because in Remix world, you kind of have one file to handle your load. Well, I'll start from the top, right? In Remix land, you have a handler that's like your loader, and this is the data loader. This is the work that you need to do to grab the data for the component. So you're safe to do server-side stuff here, so database requests, whatever, and grab the data, and then you return the data. So I'm like grabbing the pet data and some other stuff. And then how do you access this data in the component? They have a special way to grab data using this hook. This is sort of the glue that they provide you to define the data fetching functionality that would then be available both on the server side and on the client side. Okay. Then in the same file, you also, if you're going to have a form that does mutations or whatever, you're also going to have the option to define an action. And that's going to be essentially each, well, really it starts with a router. The routes, each file in the router folder is its own sort of API endpoint or like route handler. So if you define an action or export an action function as part of that component, you're exporting the action for that route. And I kind of forgot what you were asking. You just wanted to see the code. So then the route handler is really this action that, you know, grabs the form data, does the validation here, and then if I have an error, then I return my error messages. And I have it formatted so that the errors correspond with the inputs, so that then when I map over the inputs, I can say, oh, are there any errors for the name input? Are there any errors for the type? Show those errors next to the input that they correspond to. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, a little bit of it is web platform specific stuff. Yeah, that's okay. A little bit of it is, I mean, it's mostly like web platform stuff, and then Remix is the tool that makes it simpler to take these paradigms of like writing React code and placing that on top of the web platform primitives in a way that really embraces those primitives, but also makes it nice to actually write React code that doesn't feel like you're, yeah, we're talking two different languages, but similar, sure. Remix is like, it makes it nice to write React code and not feel like you're really adding a bunch of extra overhead. Like you were saying earlier, that it sounds like it's a lot of work to support a Node.js experience, and I would agree. You know, I did Vue before this, and if I were to try and implement all of those features in Vue, gosh, it's hard. I mean, it would be difficult. I mean, you could do it just server-side, and server-side it's not so bad because you can just say nothing is JS, right? You just do everything. You just do everything on the server, and that's kind of going back and having to backtrack. Yeah, that's kind of like going back to PHP world. You should definitely not feel like a moron. Like say you've gone from React to Vue because you know how to do it in React. Okay, yeah, I could totally relate to that. Is like, I've done Vue for the last several years, and I keep an eye on React because it's, I mean, it's been an industry-leading technology, so it's good to know, and they also introduce a lot of shifts in the framework architecture and things. Like when they introduced hooks, and then other library authors implemented hooks. So it's good to keep an eye out on those. But then, yeah, I'll jump into actually writing it. Remix was the first thing that I was like, all right, I'm actually going to jump over from Vue into React because Remix doesn't support Vue yet. And it looked interesting. And it is. But I totally get what you mean. Like, because they're worked on by like 5 people. Oh, interesting. Okay, so 5 people have worked on it, but you're the... Oh, it was like 5 people, like 5 founders, and then you were the first employee? Something like that? Yeah, that's kind of a tough... I mean, it's always tough when you have like people... Oh, contractors. Okay, that's even more difficult because then it's like... Especially if they're contractors for different companies, they all have different approaches, different methods. Well, I hope it's not too much of a pain to deal with. Built by data scientists. Okay. What project is it? If I can ask, or if you can share. But yeah, Vue is super cool. I really like it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine. Well, you know, one thing that helps with that is making sure that you set up linters. Like if you have ESLint that can go through and fix a lot of the things, because especially if it's like stylistic little things that can be auto fixed with ESLint, patches AI. Then maybe you can do like one separate branch that's just like the ESLint auto fix, and then merge that, you know? Well. Next generation online consultation. GP practice website. That's cool. I mean, I bet this is not the part you work on. I bet this is like, I don't know, probably like a WordPress site, and then you have. Oh no, this is a Vue site. Interesting. Okay, but you're probably working on like the app or something, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, ESLint is a blessing and a curse sometimes. Don't get me started on TypeScript either. Look, see, this is code. Look at this. This is designed to work with JavaScript disabled. Check this out. See, that's progressive enhancement right there. Yeah, well, that's super cool. Yeah, I was in biotech with the company before where I'm at now, and it sounded kind of similar too. We had a lot of data science in there and dealing with like big data and having to do the full stack of, you know, create the database that's kind of managing the data and how everything is all connected, and then doing the API and what are the access patterns for making changes. And it was a client-side rendered app, so no server-side rendering, just a Vue app, which is cool and definitely doesn't work without JavaScript. But yeah, it was fun. It was cool, and I miss working in Vue every day. But you know, it's good. It's good. It's good to get around. All right. What is this? Beagle Street. Get out of here. Beagle Street, life insurance. Okay. Uh-oh. This must be, what is this? I wonder if this is something that it's like being blocked on my end. Nope. It's just broken. Oopsie. Oh, the CDN's blocking me. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. They don't trust me. As they rightly should not. Did you do the design on this too, or just build it? I'm a big fan of WordPress, by the way. So this is headless WordPress. Is this headless? Tuno design. Get quote. Ah, okay. This part. This is the thing that you built. Cool. Yeah, ACF is wonderful. I know what I need. I know what cover I need. I need help deciding. my cover. That's cool. Yeah, I do WordPress on my personal site just because it's a blogging site and it's great for that. I like installed the GraphQL, the WP GraphQL plugin, but I never got around to actually using it. I just like to keep it simple. Let's see, cover my debts. Leave money for my children. Right, this is the React side. I do both, huh? Well, that's pretty snazzy. Let's see how it works. Okay, all right, yeah. This is cool. I like it. You did the radio button. Cool. Good. Uh-oh. Now I don't know where I'm at. Lost some focus states here. It was really good. I like this, but then the male-female thing I cannot select. Oh, there you go. No, can't select it with just the keyboard. Sorry, yeah. SVGs, okay. Label wrapping around an SVG that controls the input as well. Got it. So if this is clicked, then the label has some sort of other styles to it, or the SVG has some other styles. Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Cool. Well, hey, I got this dragged on a little bit longer than I wanted to today, so I'm gonna bounce. But Fitz, it was a pleasure hanging out and chatting with you. I hope that you hang out and come back. I'm usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you do want to make it back. But, you know, if I don't see you, it was lovely. Mwah! Really appreciate it. And I hope that, I hope you check out Remix, because it's pretty cool. And thank you for following. Really appreciate that, too. I'm around a few times, so feel free to hit me up on Twitter or something if you have any Vue questions. Let me show you something that I make. Since you're here and doing some Vue stuff. Yeah, give this a look. It's probably not 100% perfect because it's just something I work on my own in my free time on the side. But am I on Discord? I am on Discord. I don't know off the top of my head what my name is though. I don't know. I'm rarely on Discord. Woo, follower! Alright, let's see. I'm logging in. Give me 1 second. I don't even know how to share my profile. Austin Gill 7103, something like that. Oh, there you go. You already shared yours. Cool. I'll connect with you on there. Sweet. Well, thanks again for hanging out, and I'll be back on Friday, I guess. And until then, have a good one. I'll catch you later.